night for me is where you can feel very relaxed, stress-free, and not having to feel that you've got to keep watching your back.
I think a good night out for me is, you know, come out, have a drink, be able to socialise with lots of your friends, you know, and be able to do that on the same level as everybody else.
I like to be safe, have fun and be safe.
The idea was initially to do some training for the venues, to look at what sort of information the venues needed to help people with disabilities, you know, every night of the week, you know, not just the weekend.
Quite a few of the lads and girls I work with have experienced hate crime at some point in their lives. Sometimes they might not be aware of experiencing hate crime. Some of the lads and girls might not realise it's going on, and they might not realise they're being victimised when they are. And it is a problem in every town that you go to. And to be a young person is hard enough, but to be a young disabled person is even harder.
Last year I went to a punk do, and when I came home I went to the kebab shop. These two guys were abusing me, saying, like accusing me of taking drugs. That really affected me a bit, you know.
Of course the national issue is reflected anywhere. What happens here happens in Blackpool, happens in London, happens in Manchester. And as we know, the key thing is that disabled people grossly underreport disability hate crime.
If they feel that they're going to be safe and they're not going to get the abuse, then they will come into bars and pubs more often. I think that's why a lot of my friends probably don't. They haven't felt safe. You know, if we can get things like this that highlights that it is safe, then they would be more likely to use it.
So we involved Sir Philip Craven, who's an ex-Bolton lad, Paralympian, and now the president of the Paralympic Association, the international president. We got him on board. He got the Great Britain wheelchair basketball teams on board. That's where we got Oscar Pistorius to sign up to the campaign, and from there we've just grown and grown. We invited the mayor on this evening for stuff that's fitting for the town, local councillors, local dignitaries, senior police officers, senior fire officers, all the licensees have come along tonight, and that's the important thing really, that it's all the key members of the Bolton community have come along this evening.
A lot of people in my group have turned around and said, you know, that they have had abuse from people. I think sometimes there's a bit more of an element when you mix alcohol into that as well.
I had some problems quite a few years ago in my younger days. I was about 21, had one of my attacks, and I had a young girl thinking I was drunk. That caused me a great problem. My legs go very weak, and she actually thought I was drunk, and I didn't drink any alcohol that night at all. And she was laughing and joking with me, and then just sort of started to be very violent, thinking that I was putting an act on that I was drunk. It was very difficult to socialise. So yeah, that was quite a difficult time. I found it very hard then to go out into the public and socialise, especially on my own.
I'd go to the bar staff and report it, but if they didn't do anything, I'd just ring the police.
We're a safe town. I know that because we're 30 or 40% down on serious violent crime over the last 3 years anyway, so we're getting safer and safer and safer, and it's making people feel safe, and it's important to make people with disabilities feel safe in the town.
Disability hate crime has become a very, very important issue. 2 years ago, I started as a disabled person a little network on the internet, assuming that I'd get about 250 people who were all victims or interested in disability hate crime matters. As of this morning, the network is now 6,000 people and organisations. which shows how big the matter is.
It is sadly still the case that thousands of cases of disability hate crimes go unreported each year, and crimes such as name-calling, bullying, harassment of disabled people are not fully understood by the general public. In fact, these kinds of offences go unchallenged so often that they're actually in danger of being normalised.
It's not just people with learning disabilities. It's people with sight impairments. It's people with hearing impairments. It's people with mobility impairments.
This initiative is as much about education as it is prosecuting offenders. We all, as citizens, have a duty to ensure that the disabled within our communities are not treated unfairly and can enjoy activities that others take for granted. Bolton Be Safe Partnership wants to encourage people with disabilities to visit and enjoy Bolton's town centre pubs and clubs without the fear of being verbally or physically abused.
I'm pleased to see that staff in Bolton's bars and clubs have taken up the training organised by Sergeant Ellis to make them more aware of various disabilities, and I hope this now becomes an ongoing piece of work in the community.
The first bar to receive the certificate this evening is the bar.
This is important. This event is important. I'm so pleased to have been invited, and I just wish everybody here the very best. And let's get the reporting right and the figures right and make sure that hate crime in Bolton stops.
Anybody should be allowed to enjoy a night out in their town, regardless of having a disability or not. Disability hate crime is not funny. I'm not laughing. Dale's not laughing, Bolton is not laughing. Thank you for your support.
It's a very, very good campaign, and I do hope it goes far in the future and everything, you know, I hope it changes Bolton in a good way.
And I think it's really good.
It's a very good campaign, and I hope it's going to go very far in the future.
I think it's a very good idea. It's obviously a bit late in the day for me personally, but I think it's definitely something that's needed to happen for a long time.
It's excellent.
I think the campaign is a fantastic campaign, and it's probably needed throughout the region, if not nationwide, to be honest.
I think it's fantastic. I think it highlights the fact that everybody is entitled to be able to go out on a weekend and enjoy it, disabled or not, without getting that abuse. And the more it highlights that, then I don't think that can be a bad thing.